What's going on, guys? This is the top 10 best loadouts in Season 1 for Warzone 2. Now, these are all going to help you, and trust me, you can even use them in their base form. That's the most important thing when you guys actually watch these videos, that anybody can actually hop on and use these. We're going to start out with RPK. Now, the RPK is notably, apparently, one of the best long-range weapons. Now, overall, it is fantastic, but I do have something better. So make sure you guys do check this entire thing out, but we're going to start this out. RPK, we put on Custovia DX90, max out the bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. Put on attack 597 barrel to max out the damage range and recoil steadiness. The VLK 4.0 optic, if you don't want to use that, you can use just Slager 3.4, but the 4.0 is just better for me. Demo X2 grip, tuned it for the aiming idle stability and recoil steadiness. Now, this does help with recoil control in the first place, so if you do want to just keep it in moderation, it's completely fine not to tune this at all. And I put on high velocity to max out the bullet velocity and damage range. Now, one thing I saw in the comments is some people have said I've been speaking a little too fast, so if you guys do need me to slow it down, let me know in the comment section down below, but just showing you guys how amazing it is in firing range. And bots in firing range basically already have what's it called, the vets from Warzone, so you guys see it's already amazing. Put on the Fennec 45. This is the overall best SMG in Warzone 2. I don't think anything else can compete in regards to close range to mid-range engagements. Now, this thing is so good. Put on the ZLR 16.5 ignition barrel. I did not tune the length, but I tuned the weight to increase recoil steadiness to the max. VLK laser 7MW, so while you're ADSing, you will have a laser. Be careful while you're ADSing. If you don't want this, then you're gonna have to level this one, well, no, this one up, 1MW quick fire laser. That way the laser won't be visible, but your ADS will still be increased. I put on the Agile Assault 7 for maxing out aiming out stability, and I didn't max out the aim down sight speed, but it's negative 2.06 ounces. Then I put on the Fennec rubber grip, tuned it to where the weight is 0.42 ounces, and you don't have to worry about the change with the sprint to fire speed or aiming out stability. That's basically a mistake. Put on the Fennec 45 round mag, and this thing is incredible. This thing, I know it's going to get nerfed eventually, and just show you guys how many bullets it actually takes to get a long range kill. I don't know what's going on with Bloom, but 4, 5, 6. So it takes about 6 bullets long range. So if you somehow hit all your shots long range, that's actually insane. But yeah, this is probably something you can burst fire or something long range. Very, very good. But moving on from this, we also have the M4. The M4 is an incredible gun. And like I said, these can all be used in base form, so you don't have to worry about that. Put on the Harbinger D20, max out the bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. High tower 20-inch barrel to max out the damage range and recoil steadiness. The VLK 4.0 optic. The Sakin ZX grip, max out the sprint to fire speed and recoil steadiness. And I put on the 60 round mags. So at this point, I'm just showing you guys how amazing it is. Kills incredibly fast, has a great rate of fire. So this is a very healthy balance. That was where I was crouched, and just showing you guys how good it is even standing. Basically no recoil. So please try this out. I know you'll absolutely love using it, and it'll help you out a ton. Next, I'm going to show you guys this baby right here. The RAPP H. Nobody really knows about the RAPP H, and people don't really talk about the RAPP H. I don't know why, but this is actually better than the RPK. It's faster TTK, faster fire rate, and basically the same amount of recoil control. Now, this actually is not the right build, so I'm going to shake this off. The only thing that's correct is the VLK 4.0 optic, but basically what we ended up doing is we put on the Romeo FT 16-inch, max out the damage range, then max out the recoil steadiness. This is very important to have on there. The muzzle, I have the Polar Fire S. Now, the Polar Fire S is amazing. If you want something even crazier, then you put on the Custovia DX90, but I'm thinking the Polar Fire X is just better overall. I mean, it gives you more damage range. That's why I put it on there. Max out the bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. So boom, there's that. For ammunition, you put on high velocity, max that out, and you max out the damage range. And you're probably wondering at this point, what do we do next? So go to rear grip, and you put on Lachmann TCG10, and you max out the recoil steadiness. Now, with everything tuned the way it is, show you guys how amazing it is. Boom, boom, boom. So it is incredible, and now I'm just going to show you guys mounted. No recoil, no recoil, no recoil. Such an amazing gun. You guys have to use it in game. I think the trade-off for ADS is absolutely worth it for just how crazy you're actually going to go with it. Plus, you do have the Fennec as a secondary to protect you. In worst case scenario, you're in a close range engagement. Next, we have the Minibak. Now, the Minibak is a very interesting gun just because not many people actually talk about it, but it actually has some of the most, well, I think the most bullets in regards to SMGs. Now, the Minibak has 64 rounds, so don't mess with the magazine, just mess with the everything else, literally everything else. So for the muzzle, I put on the X10 RR40, maxed out the bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. For the barrel, I put on the Bach 9 279 millimeter barrel, max out the damage range and aim walking speed. Put on the Schlager Peck Box 4, the Marquis R7 stock, maxed out the aiming out stability, and I did not max out the aim down sight speed, but I put it to negative 2.06 ounces, and true tack grip for aiming out stability and recoil steadiness. If you don't care about that too much, you can flop that over to sprint to fire speed, or you can just leave it at a healthy balance of like the middle, and just show you guys how good it is. This thing has no recoil, so it's just like, to actually use this and not run out of bullets would be absolutely amazing. So please consider this. This will help you actually wipe out a whole bunch of squads. Now, granted, this doesn't have the highest TTK, but it's very useful for fighting a bunch of teams. Next, we have the Lachmann 556. The Lachmann 556 is basically the Grawl 2.0. So I put on the Harbinger D20, max out the bullet velocity and recoil smoothness, then the 15.9 Lachmann RAPP barrel to max out the damage range and recoil steadiness. Put on the Brune Royer grip, and I didn't really change anything on here, so you don't have to worry about that. Maxed out the high velocity with bullet velocity and damage range, 40 round mag, and just show you guys how amazing this is. This literally has no recoil, so you have nothing to worry about even in these long range fights. Only error that you would really run into is you basically whiffing your shots, because it's really easy to control this gun. So you don't need a sight or anything like that. If you do, you can put on the 4.0 or 3.4, but this is amazing. Then you put on the Lachmann Sub, which is also an amazing gun, and I gave you the best build for movement and recoil control, AVR T90 comp. I maxed out the gun kick control and recoil stabilization, FTAC M Sub 12-inch for damage range and recoil steadiness, the Phase 3 grip for aiming idle stability and recoil stability, the 40 round mag, and the LM stockless mod. Just show you guys how amazing this is. You still have all the movement, which is fantastic, but look at this, no recoil, which is absolutely amazing, and you have nothing to worry about with this gun because this already hits really hard. With the 40 rounds, you can easily wipe a team with it. Then we have these two interesting babies right here. Now, these are controversial. I think the MX9 is actually a slept-on weapon. I'm going to show you guys the MX9 first. The X10 RR40 is amazing. I maxed out the bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. Then put on the 508mm rear guard, maxed out the damage range and recoil steadiness. Put on the VLK Laser 7MW and the Slimline Pro. You can use anything, or if you don't want to use the iron sight, you don't have. Optic, you don't have to. Put on 32 round mag, and just show you guys how amazing this is. Look at this, no recoil, and it absolutely has amazing range. So, and I wasn't even mounted. This thing has no recoil. This thing literally has no recoil. So it's a force to be reckoned with. It's literally the most authentic AUG you could have. So please consider trying it out. Something else that I would highly recommend trying out is the TAC 56. Now, the TAC 56 with no optic is insane. Even with the optic, it's insane. But showing you guys, I put on the Harbinger D20 to max out the bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. Put on the 17.5 Tundra Pro Barrel, max out the damage range and recoil steadiness. Put on the FSS Combat Grip, did not tune it because it's not really important to tune this part. Put on a 60 round mag and high velocity, max out the bullet velocity and damage range. Just show you guys how no recoil, like how little recoil it has. I say no recoil just because it literally doesn't have any. See that? This thing is literally insane. So this is going to be so useful in fighting a bunch of enemies. And hold on, I had to actually respawn the target. It's just so good. It's incredibly good. And if you don't want to have an iron sight, you can just take off the combat grip and throw on the 4.0 optic or 3.4 Schlager, also the Basilisk. Now, this is something else that I absolutely love and a lot of people don't really know about yet. So I'm kind of stuck on this part, and I want you guys to leave in the comment section how you feel about it. I actually don't use the snake shot because I don't really think the snake shot's important. I think you can do amazing without the snake shot. In fact, I think you do better without it. So I put on the Akimbo Basilisk, the Bryson match grade, tuned it to max out the sprint to fire speed, put on the 10.5 FTAC Arrow, max out the damage range and recoil steadiness, and then the Revo LSD 7MW. The lasers are going to be visible in hip fire, but be careful. They're going to know where you're coming from. It is going to help with sprint to fire speed, hip recoil control, and hip fire accuracy. and this thing overall is an absolute beast. If you guys think it's better with snake shot, then, you know, be my guest to use it, but I think it's even better without it.